The other thing I was going to say, sorry, just before we go, this podcast, I think, if I've got my diary right, won't go out until New Year's Day.
Which means it'll be in the future.
So you're all in the future.
Yeah.
So if you could all pretend you're hungover and didn't have as good a night as you'd hoped the evening before, that would be tremendous, because it's New Year's Day where we are now. So if we say Happy New Year at any point, we've not lost our minds.
I'm Johnny Smith.
I'm Richard Porter.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things live at Stellantis.
Well then, we're back at Stellantis.
We're loving it.
And
I've got no shoes and I smell of brute.
you've got no shoes on.
and I'm wearing a bum bag. I forgot to give this away.
Oh, that's all right. We can just give it away. So we're going to do a Q&A and we can give away
The
things
most interesting
off the stage that we've brought along for interesting questions, maybe.
Yeah. So ask us anything, as the YouTubers would say.
Who's got a question?
Straight up.
Gentleman down the front here.
With the Reebok tracksuit.
Yes, a superb tracksuit, a superb Pet Shop Boys T-shirt. This is going to be a good question. I can feel it.
Well, is it working? Hello. I am kind of worried, though, because this might get cut out, but a while back I sent you a message on Patreon about this story of Dr. Jonathan Palmer leaving a toilet at Donington Park with a bit of toilet roll stuck to his shoe. And basically, Richard, your response amassed some intrigue in me, because there's obviously some further stories, and we know some people here probably listening know that you have a bit of a disdain towards Mr. Palmer, Dr. Palmer.
Where did you get that from?
It was just something
I think lots of people are pricks. I mean, it's not just... I'm not saying he's one of them.
Well, I guess you're probably thinking I am, because this will probably get cut, but the...
No, it'll only get cut if I tell you what I think of Jonathan Palmer.
Okay, fair enough. But
and for that reason, I'm not going to tell you what I think of Jonathan Palmer.
Richard, what do you think of Jonathan Palmer?
That wasn't going to be my question, by the way. But my question was going to be, is there... Well, it's not even a question, really. Are there any stories that you could either clean up and tell us about why you have this disdain to Dr. Palmer?
No.
Thank you.
Well, look,
Come and see me in the pub.
I'm going to change the subject really quickly.
The fee is 2 pints.
I'm going to say two things. Thank you very much for giving me a Miami Vice CD, which is absolutely immaculate. Lovely. And secondly, why don't we talk about Robert Palmer instead?
Oh, no, I like him.
Yeah. No,
I went to... Did I tell you about this? I think I mentioned it on social media.
You haven't met him?
No, God, no. I'd love that.
He sang I'll Be Your Baby Tonight, though. It's a bit shit, that song.
Yeah.
It is very bad.
But he did Addicted to Love as well, didn't he? Which is good. Who's the suavest person you ever met?
God, that's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah. We can come back to it.
Yeah, can we?
Okay.
Yeah, I've met some silky people.
I might tell you some Jonathan Palmer stories later, but certainly not while we're recording. Has anyone else got a question that's not going to get me into legal trouble? Annie, you go free rein and choose someone, because we're up here and we can't see.
Good evening.
Hello.
An automotive hero for either of you, be it engineer, designer, someone associated with cars, dead or alive, who you haven't met.
Ooh.
Who would it be and what would you ask them?
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Serious or silly?
Well, off the top of my head, I thought about Michelle Mouton the other morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Don't cheapen it.
Let's not make it smutty. There's several reasons, and one of them is obviously that Audi rally car, the Quattro rally car, being legendary, but her conquering all at a time when she did, and still 40-something years later, there's not enough women in dominant motorsport.
Yeah.
I've never met her. I'd love to meet her. If I did speak to her, I'd probably ask her how difficult it was doing what she did in a male-dominated environment all those years ago, and properly bossing it, frankly.
Nice.
Yeah. She was also hot as well. Current tense.
There's that Audi versus Lancia film coming out. Has anyone seen the trailer for this?
I have seen it.
Where did they get that idea from? Certainly wasn't the fucking film we made on the Grand Tour about it 3 years ago.
No, nothing to do with it, was it?
Anyway.
You're not bitter about that, are you?
No, I'm not, but the guy who directed it was a bit like, what the... Anyway, because he put a lot of work into that. I thought it was quite a good film. That. Anyway, I'm sure the movie's going to be great. It's just I saw the trailer and it seems to be the dialogue seems to be a little from the marked movie dialogue rather than the way that people
generic film
speak normally. Do you think you can win this rally? Sure, I can. Cut to the Audi.
But I'm going to need a.
You coming up there in this 4-wheel drive Quattro? Are you crazy? Sure, I'm crazy. That's what makes me good. They don't say any of this in the film. I'm just imagining they might because the dialogue looks
sounds like
awful,
a chat between two salesmen at a services when they've just got their new company cars. One's gone for
Quattro's
2
writing checks your buddy can't cash. I can't remember. Someone is playing Michelle Mouton in that movie, and I can't remember who it is.
Well, I'll be watching the film, rest assured.
I would. I'd always wanted to meet Harris Mann, the car designer who styled the Allegro and the Princess and the TR7, and did lots of other work. He sort of saved the Metro because it was a bit boxy and unpleasant, and it failed all its customer clinics, and he made it look nice.
Yeah,
as part of the team that did that, and I think he was much maligned because the Allegro was a bit of a whipping boy, but the Princess, if it had come out of Pininfarina, or Etal or someone like that, it would be rightly fated as a brilliant piece of design.
Yeah,
and I would like to ask Harris Mann if he ever got really sick of people just going, let's do the Allegro. Whereas actually, within the industry, I gather he was very well respected because he was excellent. In fact, someone told me about this brilliant thing where he was a lecturer at Coventry car design school. Some people here might know that. And he was brilliant. He sort of taught himself in his later career to clay model. That wasn't what he did. He was a designer, so he was sketching. But he learned how to clay model as well, so he could really get in on the surfaces of the car and do it himself. And then he used to help students sort out their problems when they were doing the little scale models of their projects and they were having trouble with surfacing. He would come in and he would sort it out. And apparently he was just a genius. And he did it to this one student. They went, it just doesn't look right. And Harris Mann came in and just went, is that better? And the guy was like,
wizardry.
So good. And as he walked off, this student turned to a guy I know who was also on that course and just went, Harris Mann, man. And that, to me, I've always thought that since. I only found this out, a few months ago whenever Harris Mann died. I'd heard this story, but since then I was like, Harris Mann, man. He was fucking great, and I won't have a word said against him, and I wish I could have met him and just asked him what it was like being associated with one duff project that he got stitched up over.
Yeah. And I actually wanted to finish my car and let him have a go in it, and that's never going to happen, so hey-ho.
Do we have another question?
Loads there. Loads.
Rich pickings.
I've already got the microphone.
Oh. Uh-oh. This guy's nicking everything.
It was an excellent New Year's Eve. I woke up with another guy's shoes on,
Yeah, amazing. Spot on.
No, we did the New Year's Eve thing before we started recording. We're going to have to explain it now. You've really boxed us into putting this out on the first, you bastard.
That time, you bought me a whole line of WKD Blues with the straws already in.
Oh, man, what a night it was last night. That was New Year's Eve.
Yes, it was.
If you're listening to this at home, and definitely not December.
I'm hungover.
But no, I do have a question. So for a number of weeks, both you guys and Alex Kirsten claim to be the UK's #1 automotive podcast.
Yes.
Do we need an Anchorman-style fight-out just to decide?
Yeah. I think we do.
Yeah.
Not the face. Leave the mothers out of it. No, it's fine. Alex's podcast, is doing really, really well. It's just a shame they're not #1 because they're not. Because Alex doesn't understand how the charts work.
Apparently, I don't understand either. But I've got him to back me up, so I just push him in.
We got the receipts. Because the overall show chart, sorry if I'm boring you, but the overall show chart is dynamic and it reflects growth as well. So if you start, as Alex's show has, which is very good, by the way, but it started quite recently. So, of course, its audience growth is huge. Whereas, we struggle to gain any new listeners because people have heard what we do. And so...
And it's quite repetitive, frankly.
Yeah. They've done something about poo and then got distracted again. Yeah.
Lots about sort of verge pissing.
So, they're doing really well in the overall chart because it's reflecting the fact they're growing massively. And in the individual episode chart that does actual listener numbers, we're still #1. And I'm clinging to that for as long as I bloody can.
But I like Alex. He's a lovely guy. Sweet guy. Yeah. Yeah, I have. I accidentally bought a car that he ruined around a track. But actually, it's a good car. So I'm not upset about it. Although he is right about the starter motor. I didn't believe him at first. But yeah, it sounds like sort of someone being strangled. It doesn't disengage quickly enough.
Oh, no.
It goes...
Like a cat being sick.
It's very unsports car-like. I think I need to change the starter motor. Yes. It's a bit disappointing.
Do we have another question for Britain's #1 podcast in the car space?
Oh, I've got the microphone already. So
That's clear as crystal.
I'm playing the game, really. 2 points. Johnny, there is a TikTok account called Scenic Pisses.
Yes.
And I think you need to jump on it before they get the market share.
He's very cross about this.
I'm cross because I'm such a busy guy with all my other current projects.
They're in America as well, so they've got like big mountains and things.
Bastards.
On a more car-related note, I saw the number plate Bollend the other day.
Seriously?
Oh my God.
Yeah, BO11END. It reminded me that the DVLA removed BE11END from registration, so no one could have the ultimate number plate.
Well, that would have made you look like a wonker.
And that's...
And a cont.
Have either of you guys come across any number plates that either exist and are like that, or any stories of the DVLA taking away number plates like that?
Well, I know the main guy at DVLA number plate valuation, but I'm not going to reveal his details. But
Is he Mr. GC?
He's a rich source of information. No, I remember years ago when I was first started out in journalism, and I remember seeing a then new BMW Z3 in that really vivid green colour, like toothpaste green.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
What, sorry?
Fiji green. Yeah, it's very sort of like ski jacket green in the late 80s, and it is quite a cool colour. But the number plate basically read pea soup. I remember it. I remember it vividly, and it looked shit hot. I suspect the car's a solid £800 car now, but the plate is probably, I don't know, a solid 20 grand, 30 grand plate.
Yeah.
So, that's. I mean, I saw a Range Rover in London near where you used to live, and it just said porn. It's true, I remember it. But the O wasn't an O; it was a 9 with a very bulbous O part and a tiny tail. Looked like something like something.
Yes.
It looked like sort of an overdeveloped tadpole.
Yeah.
Not a 9. You know what I mean?
There used to be a Range Rover in my hometown that had the number plate Classy.
Oh wow!
And I thought that's sort of
not true.
Not true.
Yes. I'm going to say
Oxymoron, as my old English teacher used to pronounce it.
Really?
Do you have another question? Or a question, as my old geography teacher used to say for some reason. Question.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
With the demise of ICE vehicles, the term petrol head isn't really going to work for very much longer, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Do we know what do you think a collective term for car enthusiasts might become? Please don't say gearhead because it makes me feel a bit icky.
Oh,
Yeah,
does it?
no,
Because I was going to say gearhead is the American term, isn't it?
I
You're
like,
a gearhead.
I like Motorhead because
And they're not using it anymore, so...
No, exactly.
Or are they not? I don't know.
Well,
Motorhead's
is it
still...
electric motor?
motor's sort of generic.
Motorhead. That's
I
actually
hate
very good.
petrolhead. I've said this before because I get coined petrolhead a lot, and I do some corporate work now and again, and they write a script and it always says professional petrolhead.
Oh, God.
And I just go, oh gosh, I'm going to go and slam my face in a door, and I have to insist on rewriting it, otherwise I'm vomiting it in my own mouth.
Yeah, that's like Jeremy Clarkson will just have motor mouth written on his grave, whether he likes it or not.
Yes.
Because some newspaper copywriter will come in and do it anyway.
Motor mouth.
Do you get that? Because my column in Evo used to be called Petrolhead.
I get cranker a little bit nowadays. And he gets stroker. Don't know what that's about. Oh, it's about
Your
our
problem
bowling
is-
prowess.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good question, though.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. This might be a work in progress. We'll
Car
figure something
fanatic.
out. Unless you have a suggestion for us.
No, not really. I was hoping you'd. Sort of
You're the ones
Feel
who's supposed
free
to
to
do
get
this for a
back
living,
to
you
us.
pricks.
Car perv.
We'll
I'll
get
go
back
with
to
that.
you.
Easy. Job done. Yeah, there we go. So
Yeah.
at least 4 people agree.
I don't know. The
So-
car pervert one is... It's open to misinterpretation, isn't it?
No.
In fact... Well, it is, because my sometime colleague, TV's Jeremy Clarkson, had cottoned on to the fact that you're sometimes known as car pervert, and he was making small talk with me a few months ago, and he went, how's your podcast going, Sniff and Perverts?
Did he?
I was like, that's something very different.
Sniff. We are not TV cops, are we? We are not TV cops.
Do we have another question?
Yeah, hi. My answer would be kilowatt head for that.
Oh, kilowatt head.
What? We're just about what head?
Kilowatt, as in, because obviously it's EV.
Yeah, but what head is just quicker to say if you're in a hurry.
Yeah, probably.
And what is still a measure of
that'd
energy.
That'd be a magazine. That'd be like what car? But
I see. What head?
What head?
Well, not that one over there. Sorry, go on, yes.
Keep it on theme. It's a bit of an information thing for Johnny because he's missing Miami Spice.
Yes.
Back in the day, it's pure information only, and someone told me this.
Yes, I'm listening.
There is, that's why there's 2 adult movies out there.
Oh gosh, come on! Why direct this at me?
Miami Spice themed, called Miami Spice and Miami Spice 2.
Seriously?
And there's loads of amazing quotes from that. And back in the day,
quotes? Who's quoting a porn film?
I can't quote them as ladies' person. They're pretty rude. But
can I just ask, out of pure curiosity, are they on Freeview? Like over Christmas?
Well, no, I would obviously watch these in the privacy of your own room.
Yes. Well, I'm in a hotel tonight.
As opposed to on a bus.
Oh look, there's a Network Q rally fleece.
Very good friend.
Yes.
That was it, really. I just wanted to inform you of that.
That's good. It's good to know. There was quite a boom, wasn't there, for a while in pornographical films that mimicked these puns.
Oh yeah,
punned on this. Shaving Ryan's Privates was my favourite one. I've not seen it. I just heard about it.
It has got the cars as well.
What? Oh, well, I'm watching it. Legit.
Yes,
I
did. It's
when
legit,
it shows on your hotel bill, you can go, and I was watching it for the cars.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly, that's the excuse for watching it.
For 7 minutes, Mr.
Car
Smith.
spotting.
Pile driving Miss Daisy was my favourite.
Oh my God!
It's nothing short of a genius title.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. The Umpire Strokes Black as well. Anyway, next question. These are actual films. Next. Stop it. Enough already.
Richard.
Hi.
If I mention Top Gear together with Stellantis and one of their brands specifically, Peugeot, do you have any comments on the episode that went out?
Do I have any comments on that message? I don't.
Can't say Stellantis without doing the appropriate backbeat, please.
Sorry, I just had a message. Apparently my Range Rover's in the car park being crushed with a high out. I was in that episode, yes. I was very, very drunk because there was wine on the table.
Real wine?
Well, this is a thing. We thought there'd be prop wine, but it turns out they hadn't bothered to buy prop wine. They just bought wine.
It's cheaper than prop wine.
So I was quite drunk, as was James May, actually.
Did you speed drink? Sort of nervous speed
Well, no,
drink?
because it took forever. I think I've told this story before, but it took forever to set up. Because it was my stupid thing. I went, we should do this boardroom scene, but also it's obviously got to have a view of the Eiffel Tower out the window, like in an American movie, because we're in Paris.
Yeah.
So that's what you do. I saw something, by the way, on the TV the other day, and they did exactly that. Like, that cliche doesn't go away. But the thing is, when you say something like that, the next thing, you're at a posh hotel in Oxfordshire watching them build scaffolding in front of the window so they can drape a green screen to put the Eiffel Tower in post-production. And unfortunately, no one had thought that the table, this boardroom table, was glass. And when glass reflects the green of a green screen, the computer that's dropping the image onto the green puts it on the table as well. What? And it looks shit. So if you watch that scene back, there's a lot of stuff on the table to cover the glass so it doesn't reflect green.
Bloody hell, I did not know that.
Little trade secret. And so we had to sit there while they figured this out for a while, like for about 45 minutes. 45 minutes of real wine. I was thirsty that day. And also, James had just done his wine program, I think, and James was drinking it as well, and he went, "Oh, try that one, it's quite nice." And so I did. Took his advice. And then we went, "Oh dear, that bottle's empty. How's that happened?" For some reason, most of the other people around the table weren't drinking. I think because they had to drive, and James and I knew we didn't have to drive the rest of that day, so we could just have a drink. That's all I have to say about that film. I was drunk, and I can't remember anything else about it.
This is prop wine.
Do you have another question?
There's lots.
There's lots. Okay, go ahead. Whoever has the mic.
Johnny,
Shit!
Have you considered showing your Danish titanium glasses to Gordon Murray and challenging him to make a more lightweight pair?
Do you want to know the truth about my new glasses? I still haven't collected them. They've been calling me relentlessly for about 10 days. Basically, I've paid for them. They're there, and I just can't be asked to go and get them. I mean, I am busy as well.
But then Gordon would approve of that because he'd go, the lightest thing is something that's not there.
True, but I am quite eager to try them, but obviously not that eager. That I've got
Not very eager to see where you're going.
I'm an idiot. Apparently, this has happened before with real cars. I met somebody years ago who worked in a dealership, and somebody bought a car cash outright and never came to come and get it. And they don't know if they died, disappeared, forgot, whatever. Yeah, true.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bought a car, never came to get it. Yeah. I also know someone that found a car that was owned by a bloke that it was like a proper gang boss, should we say? And he got taken out, he got murdered, but nobody really knew about it, so it was gangland. But this guy knew. No, it's a complicated story. hey, another question.
I've said too much.
Yeah, I've said. Yeah, it's true though. Yeah, he ended up claiming his car. So, next question.
Hello. Oh, there we go.
That was quick. I can't even see where the mic's going.
No, I don't know where the mic is. Sorry, we look a bit vague as we're staring into space.
So, picture the scene. You're two sense-deficient uni students driving a car to Croatia and back next year for £1,000. What are you buying and why?
Ooh, Rover 75, suggesting from the front there. I don't know whether
75.
Would I endorse that? Feels like you might.
Are you
damage
leaving it there or bringing it home?
Depends. If it's something nice, we'll bring it home. If it's a Rover Metro convertible, we'll donate it to Croatia.
You're not getting a Rover Metro convertible for £1,000. They're a collector's item, my friend.
The trouble is since COVID, there's not really many £1,000 usable cars. Really?
No, I mean they are out there, aren't they?
Hey?
Say what? Yaris, yeah.
PT
Yaris.
Cruiser, that's a good call.
Yeah, I bet you could get a PT. I mean, they're hang away a minute. I've just remembered, PT Cruiser made by Chrysler. What a great car! You should definitely have one of those. And I'm sure it'll give them years of faithful service if you choose to bring it back, sir. That's quite a good shout, though, because they're not very much money.
Actually, it's a sort of guilty pleasure of mine. I don't mind the PT Cruiser.
And all of the members of your team, change your name to PT Cruiser before you go, and then you can be the PT Cruiser.
I pity the Cruiser.
Pity Cruiser. That's quite good. Let's get an I and a Y in there. Even though it's an excellent car, of course, and I heartily endorse it.
Yes. I think the bonus with the PT Cruiser as well is because you'd be inside it, you wouldn't be looking at it.
Hey, it doesn't. There are much worse cars out there, but you all have to dress as like Californian men of a certain age with sort of like old guys' rule T-shirts and flip-flops.
Yeah.
And those shorts which are nearly trousers,
shorts.
but they're not quite trousers anymore. Those ones.
Sounds like you're describing Blink 182.
Yes, well, they love a charity road trip to Croatia as much as the next guy.
I love all the small things.
Try that.
PT Cruiser, I think, is a really good suggestion.
A good one. And a Yaris, someone said Yaris.
Well, Yaris, if you want to get there and back, I would say, is probably quite a good shout, even though, of course, Toyota are bastards and you should definitely buy a Citroen. You've got to keep them sweet. They're
I get it.
Has anyone else got a question? No.
So there are driving gloves and driving shoes.
Of course.
Do either of you have any other specific items of driving clothing?
God, that's a good question.
Such as, for example, certain pairs of pants that you choose if you know you're going to have to sit for hours on a motorway and arrive with non-matched spuds.
Well, I found a pair of undercrackers that I really liked a couple of years ago, and I threw all my other ones away and just bought 12 of the same one.
Oh, I thought you were going to say just wore those.
No, yeah. So what I just said, but I bought a pair of those, and that's what I wear all the time.
Pretty much the same as well.
Yeah.
Middle-aged men are fascinating, aren't we?
It's just the way I roll.
I used to have lucky pants.
Did you?
Yeah. I had lucky pants. It's funny because I was discussing this once. Well, just like not dying in a plane crash and shit like that. I was discussing this once with a mate, and I went, I've got lucky pants. He went, I've got lucky pants as well. Always wear them on one on the pull. And I went, oh, I wear them when I'm going on a plane so it doesn't crash. And I realised we were coming at things from very different angles. But And I always used to wear them on Top Gear Studio Day on a Wednesday every week when we were making that show, because I believed that it would make the recording go smoothly.
Didn't you have you down as one of those?
Well,
guys?
you know how superstitious I am about shit, so it's like it is just one of those things. I don't have lucky pants anymore. I've weaned myself off that because the lucky pants became rather threadbare.
Threadbare. I was just about to say,
and that felt like their luck ran out. So, but unlike our old series producer Andy Willman, who also wore lucky pants on Studio Day, and his lucky pants became so threadbare, he had to get his wife to stitch them onto a surrogate pair of other pants to maintain their structural integrity.
No way. Did you do a floor pan swap?
Yeah,
on pants? He did, seriously?
So yeah, there would have been a time when if I was, I don't know, going on a big road trip or on a track day or something, I might have worn my lucky pants to make sure I didn't crash.
I think the only thing that's anywhere near that, my daughter was really ill when she was very young. So I used to wear one of her headbands, like a little hair squeegee thing. I don't know what you call them. For ponytails, like that. I used to wear it as like I just used to put it on my wrist when I was doing her hair, and then I'd leave it on there, and I'd realise I'd turn up for work and I'd still have one on my arm. So I just used to wear one on my arm for about 3 years. And then I realised it looked like a sort of gap year bracelet, and I thought this has to stop. And just park that idea, basically. I never did a gap year. I didn't have fucking time. I didn't. I was too busy trying to get a career.
Oh,
so yeah, it's a shame. I'll do it when I'm about 50. Just go wild in a PT Cruiser.
Yeah,
with some of those shorts
and then
on.
Have so many beads you won't be able to bend your elbow.
I'll get an ear hole or something.
Oh,
an ear tunnel.
Tunnel. Get an ear tunnel.
Yeah.
Next question. Where's the microphone going? We can't really see.
I love the questions because we just never know what we're going to get.
Never know where it's going to go.
Right.
Oh, gosh. If it starts with right.
Yeah.
Actual car question.
Oh, God.
Right. You've got to choose the most impractical daily driver. And bearing in mind one of you lives near London.
Right.
And you've got a Range Rover, so that's probably fairly hard to park.
Yeah. I know he's driven here tonight in one of those vehicles you're talking about.
Yeah. Car parking's bigger here, though, isn't it?
A supercharged petrol Range Rover in 2023.
It's working.
You've got to choose between a Hummer H2, which is massive and impractical to park, or a Group B rally car with a full 5-point harness, bucket seats, door bars, full roll cage.
Unforgiving clutch.
And a very unforgiving clutch.
I'm still going Group B. Which one? Am I allowed to choose?
I think Metro 6R4.
Oh, thank you. I'll have it.
Yeah.
I've never driven a 6R4. You have, haven't you?
Yeah, quite short.
Quite jealous. Yeah, I've driven an RS200.
Yeah.
And
it's very exciting.
If you have even that much lock-on and you try to pull out of a junction, it stalls.
Yeah.
And if you have no lock-on and you try to pull out of a junction, it stalls. It's just a stalling machine with a rally car attached.
Yeah.
But when you get it going, it's fucking brilliant.
By Jove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one? No, it wasn't that. It was when they had that bloody... I was going to say, I don't do a lot of track work. Not used to wearing 5-point harnesses. And I've learned the hard way that one of the things about a 5-point harness is, before you put it on, remember to close the door.
Oh, gosh. It's true. I've done that numerous times.
Have
or
you
adjust the mirror.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, I'll just drive it with no mirrors.
Yeah.
I've done that a few times.
Did you also, when you forget to close the door?
Yeah,
because often it's very hot, you try to...
I did a hot pull away to try and shut the door. Yeah, because they're made out of like crisp packets.
You forget there's a low wall in front of you.
Jump it into the wall.
Yeah, I'm going to daily the 6R4 and see how that goes.
What it has over the Hummer, aside from the fact it looks cool, is the fact that you can do a really easy sort of donut. So although the lock isn't very good on those sorts of race cars, you can sort of flick them, which makes you look like a bit of a tart, but at the same time it gets the job done when you need to. So
in the middle of Stamford High Street.
Yeah, just saying. Yeah, good for track work as well. Yeah. Good question, though.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Sweet question.
We should start giving away stuff for questions.
Oh,
I feel bad now.
Who wants to still answer this bum bag?
Or we should just throw them into the crowd like we're at a gig. I don't know.
There was a couple of them. I'm trying to think.
Maybe we should auction them for charity or something. That would be a nice thing to do, wouldn't it?
Right, seriously, who wants this? Put your hand up now. That one there. That person there. Yeah, you waving. Come up. I'm not throwing it that far in case it hits someone in the face.
While you're coming up, could we maybe have the next question queued up?
Yeah, he's going to come up for a full presentation.
This is great. We've got a tracking shot and everything. I was going to give away a club.
Before, not an official licensed product of Stellantis.
No warranty.
Made at home by someone.
Okay, next question.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
What is the best feature that you've discovered on a second-hand car that you've bought that you didn't realise it was going to come with?
That's a really good question.
Was it your car or your mate's car that had all that stuff under the back seat?
Oh, that was a car that I found that I wanted to buy, but I was at VMAX with cars, so I made him. Well, he became a PR of Rolls-Royce. So he bought a Mercedes 500 SEL when they W126 when they were very cheap. I've told this story numerous times, and he took it home. It was about £400 with an MOT. Drove it home. It drove well, but it stank. He cleaned it all out that weekend. He said, in his words, I bought it off a skinhead neo-Nazi. And I went, okay, interesting. And he cleaned it, and then days later it just still reeked. So he's like, this is ridiculous. Something's happened in this car. I don't know what. Rooted around, trying to sort of detail it, lifted the back seat up, a full Tesco bag full of actual shit, with a fridge magnet on the top with Dale Winton's face on it. That's not a made-up story. Yeah, it was a £400 500 SEL.
That's so disrespectful.
An awful lot of feces under the seat. But why? Nobody knows why. That's the thing.
Do you think the person responsible had eaten the Dale Winton fridge magnet?
To this day, I don't know the reasons. I don't know the reasons.
I'm going to say we'll never know.
No. Tell that Will Ferrell line from Blades of Glory. What does it mean? Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative.
I can't top that. I'm trying to think of some. I mean,
features.
No, there was not. It's not a second-hand car that I've bought, or indeed anyone's bought. But a friend of mine is a director, was shooting a TV show where they needed a load of decent-looking scrap cars to decorate a street scene where they might get bashed up, and one of the safety crew was just checking that all cars were okay, opened the boot of one of these cars that had come from a scrapyard, and it was absolutely crammed full of cocaine.
What?
And they were a bit like, no, this is unusual. So they rang the police. I mean, it was a seriously like proper kind of make the news quantity of cocaine. So they rang the police, and the police came out and took it away. And it turned out this had been an abandoned car that was being used as a stash by a local drug gang.
Amazing.
And the car had been yanked away by the council and then sent to the scrapyard with all of their gear in the boot. And so that's an unusual feature that you won't find in every second-hand car.
Yeah, I'd say that's unusual. Yeah, there have been some other ones. I found, when you can dim down the dash binnacle lights, I had a car where it was really, really dim, and I looked for months, and I was like, clearly it's got a shit dash binnacle, or my eyes are broken, one of the two. And then, like, ages later, I found where it was, and it was hidden, like, on another. I think it was like with the odometer that you press in to reset.
Oh, yeah, was it a VW?
I might have, and you turn it, and it was like, oh, so it does two things. Oh, God, that's amazing.
What did I? Because I had a car like that.
I was like, it's like the guy from Father Ted, the thick one.
Dougal. Yes.
Dougal. It was like that. I was really excited just for a second.
Yeah, I had a car like that. I can't remember what it was. Anyway.
Yeah.
Not interesting.
That's that. Not as good as a Dale Winton fridge magnet in a bag of shit.
Dale Winton came to see us at Top Gear once. Have I told this story before? Probably. We're running out of stories. Well, but yeah, he came down. He was filming a show, one of those Make-A-Wish shows, and the kid wanted to come and see Top Gear being filmed in the studio.
Oh, that's me.
And Dale Winton came down early, and he turns out to be a big car guy, or he was. God rest him.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing that we hadn't realised about how much of a car guy Dale Winton was, that he was walking through the parking area outside the studio with our producer, and he looked across where we got some press cars parked up, and he went, "Oh, is that the new facelifted Citroen C5?"
What?
Yeah, dead straight. Dale Winton, car nerd.
Car dude, brilliant.
Do we have another question?
Oh, that was quick.
Following that story, when the BBC come and call you next year for hosting Top Gear, you get any you're going to need a third presenter, and then what's going to be your first road trip, and what cars are you taking?
Amazingly, I'm busy next year. Would you do that gig?
I would do it if it wasn't 3 people and it wasn't called Top Gear.
And also it was about dogs.
No, you don't. It has to be about model villages specifically for me to be interested in. But I think where would be the first road trip? I mean, I would desperately like to take him, and this is this is an aspiration for a video on Smith and Sniff at some point in the future. I would like to take him to a lock-in at a model village.
Why does it have to be a lock-in?
Because then you get to see the back rooms, the maintenance team. You can take booze in. I've just made that bit up. But that's what I'll book an Airbnb nearby, so we'll get a bit of it'll be a bit of a drink.
So you're suggesting I drink half a bottle of scotch and then just rampage around the place going, I'm a giant!
Yes. Like a sort of shit's Gulliver's Travels. Yes. That's what's going to happen. But we'll drive there in a sort of a fairly average car, and we'll drive back in a fairly average car.
So this is why this isn't happening.
Yeah.
Because our ideas are terrible, or at least too strange. I don't think Top Gear's coming back next year. Also, it's the honest truth of it. I think they've got to leave it a little bit longer.
I'll put it in the proving drawer, and Paul Hollywood will pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dust off his flowery hands.
Oh, yeah. The cuffs will be up.
Yeah.
Slow motion flower slapping.
I don't know. The other problem is thinking of what you'd like to do as a road trip.
It's not a thing.
But also, you say flower slapping without the context, it looks like you've gone up to a load of those big daisies and gone,
fuck you, pansies. Yeah.
Extreme gardening. Now, there's a show I'd rather present.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Just about people who don't know anything about gardening having a really good go at it.
Well, like me.
We're back, and everything's dead.
No, I still maintain from many podcasts ago, Kevin MacLeod's Granada designs. I still think it's amazing. Well-off couple. They've bought a Scorpio. They don't like the way it looks. But see, this is TV genius. They don't like the way it looks. They've got an awful lot of money to plough into it. They want to do something quite radical but tasteful. Kevin, come back in a year. Let's see what happens.
In a year?
Yeah.
He'd come back in a few times in between that going, this isn't going to work out. Oh, look, she's pregnant. Still not going to work out. Yeah.
It's going,
as per the accepted grand designs.
We've put a tow bar on it. It's got a trailer tent when they come back. It's absolutely fine. Doesn't matter how many children they've got. Yeah, but Granada Designs by Kevin MacLeod, I think that's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to watch that.
Cardening, yeah.
Yeah, see, that could work. That could actually work. Yeah. Well, we'll just leave that there.
There we go. Are there any BBC commissioning editors in the room?
Yeah. Does anyone work for Amazon or Netflix or any of those big guns? No.
Alrighty. Do we have another question?
You've been a really good crowd, tonight. It's been lovely. Thanks for coming. Just thought I'd say.
Yeah. You've been so good. Would anyone like a Russian copy of Evo magazine that I want to get rid of? I've got down here. Does
anyone want a club? And if they do...
So, the clubs come with anything we give away. Here. Look, I'll tell you
what. Do you want a salty one? Not like that. Who wants an orange club? Yeah, you're straight in there. There you go. Who wants a mint one? Straight in there. Oh. I'll give out the others in a minute. I'm worried about hitting heads. I've got some of these as well.
No, careful! Don't open them because they'll be all.
I just say the words, all the words on the tin. Finest, all natural, and the original travel
for the tape,
suites.
Johnny is looking at some travel suites and not just describing something randomly because...
So some of this is in italics and some of this is in caps. Finest, italics. All natural, caps. And the original travel suites in italics. Mixed fruit drops, caps.
Oh, God.
Yeah, proudly made in Great Britain by A.L. Simkin and Sons off of Sheffield. There we go. Amazing. So it's a huge mix of
we'll
italics
open those later.
And caps there.
Don't open them now because you'll have a Paul Hollywood style dusty hands. Don't do it.
Paul Hollywood's cocaine hands. Honestly, I'm baking. Yeah.
He could take over from Ross Kemp. Ross Kemp does gangs, but Paul Hollywood could do that thing where he goes and infiltrates the hardest gangs in the world, but then he just gets their coke stash and goes.
Oh, fun. Amazing!
Dusts it everywhere.
Oh, amazing.
His final piece to camera, he's always talking incredibly quickly.
We're going to make some Chelsea buns, yeah. Okay, right, now let's just get a load of this. Great. Yeah, come on, boys, come on, let's do this.
Before we get sued for libel, or slander. I always get this mixed up. Anyway, do we have a question?
Hello.
Hello. Where's that coming from?
Introducing some friends to some of the videos on the Smith and Sniff channel.
Oh, don't do that.
Years ago.
Some friend you are.
He's not a very good friend.
Fair enough.
I was just wondering what your idea of peak old money car or peak rare but nobody cares would be.
Okay. Well, do you remember I sent it to you on WhatsApp? I saw a Perodua Kalisa on Auto Trader.
Oh, yes. Did we discuss this?
I can't remember if we did.
I always
or
get
not.
real life mixed up with the
So do
podcast.
I. And it was a one-owner car with something like 16,000 miles on it. Every panel was damaged. I think it was champagne metallic.
Yeah, a lot of panel damage.
So it did look a bit grim, but the mileage and the one-ownerness, and also it did say deceased in the title. And I thought, hey, it's probably quite a rare car now. Genuinely, nobody gives a flying shit. But I thought I nearly bought it. It was just a bit too far away and I was busy. But I would have liked to have bought it, actually. So I'd say it's fairly rare that nobody cares.
Old money? I mean,
you're good at old money. You've got a good old
money.
Money
It's very easy and I think it's still default to a least 2 generations old Subaru Legacy estate.
Yeah.
Stinks of Labradors.
Yeah.
But quite well kept.
Well, full service history.
Full service history from a main agent, yeah.
The main agent can basically just write out a telephone number on an invoice, and they won't even clean it, and they'll go, yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
£16,000 service. Yeah, that seems fine
no
to
problem.
me. It's fine.
Certainly not going to buy a new car.
Car's
That'd be
worth
vulgar.
1,800 quid. I'm down with that. That's absolutely fine.
I was in a village in North Norfolk a couple of years ago, and I walked past. I was walking, we had the dog with us. I was taking the dog for an early morning walk. Walked past a very big house in Norfolk, which I think sometimes might be Britain's poshest county.
Really?
It's quite posh. I mean, I know it's also got, sort of simpletons in it. So, what do you think? But I think there's a lot of people who sort of own most of Norfolk that Prince Charles hasn't got, and they do live there. And certainly this chap I saw coming out of this house, he was ruddy of trouser and tweed of jacket. And he was getting into an old shape Volvo V40.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought,
yeah. A Volvo 850 is quite old money.
Yeah.
Like a late one.
But I think the V40, just the modesty of it as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not even a big car, because we don't need a big car these days. Now the children have all gone to London.
It's
leafy fucking London. He might say when he's had a couple of gins.
It's old money.
Old.
How do you spell that?
Old. E-U-E-A-U-L-D. Old.
It sounds like ill money.
We told you that thing where we started going ears. And then I read Olivia Colman being interviewed, and she said when she did The Crane, the TV show The Crane, she was told to say yes in an authentic way. Just say ears.
Ears.
Would you like another gin, Your Majesty? Ears.
It's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there we go. Does that answer your question? I think
we did actually answer the question before we somehow drifted off into a ditch.
10 minutes later.
Do we have another question? Oh, this man keeps putting his hand up and we don't keep answering it, so I'm going to give him a copy of Evo in Russian instead to say, there you go. Just to say sorry. There we go.
Give him a club as well.
Oh, and a salted caramel club as well. There you go.
It's a salted caramel. If you're not down with that, we have got mint and the other flavours too.
Yeah. Next question, please.
Hi, chaps.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, do either of you have any hands-on experience of a Coventry climax?
It's the best engine name ever, isn't it? It really is. It really is. It's a bucket list car for me, the Hillman Imp, because it was my dad's first car, and I do keep sort of hawking around them occasionally, going, I would like one, and I know.
For context, people are aware the Hillman Imp has a Coventry Climax engine, right?
Yes.
It doesn't sound like Johnny's just decided to ignore the question.
And also, let it be known that you can really make the Climax quite hot for hill climbs, etc., etc. So,
sometimes it's good to, because I remember that it's a very revvy car, because I have driven an Imp and a Stiletto.
Cool.
Lovely.
Sweet.
But you really have to rev them.
Yes.
So you're kind of delaying your climax a little bit, but by just thinking about the offside rule and stuff. And And you got the microphone now, so I want that Russian Evo. No, you're fine. You can have it.
You're starting to talk about edging, so I think you should ask the question. Okay.
All right, let's move on.
Can I say Happy New Year?
No, in Russian, please.
Yes. That's all I know.
Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year
Happy
to
New
you and
Year,
everyone
because this
here.
is definitely New Year's Day, yes.
Look as though you had an heavy night, you guys.
I had a fantastic New Year, thank you.
Thank you. So my question is, after all this time waiting, hope it's not an anticlimax.
That's good.
Someone that hates imps. Imp hater. Anticlimax.
He's impartial. Sorry.
Who would you guys put your actual money on to get the fastest lap around Silverstone driving a Rover SD1 V8, a certain Perry McCarthy in a black race suit, or a certain Ben Collins in a white race suit, or, looking to Johnny, a certain Mr. Tiff Needell in his finest, thinnest leather blouson from Italy? Who would do the fastest lap?
It'd be Timothy Needell.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm going to say Tiff as well, just to annoy Perry and Ben.
Yeah. I thought you said perineum at first. I thought, I'm not familiar with that guy. Yes, yeah.
I mean, he does talk a bit of blast sometimes, but I'd say, I mean, Tiff would be in with a shout for sure, because
his car control is sublime.
Car control's superb, yeah.
But also the Superleggera jackets.
So they'd be in their heavy Nomex, and
they would, and he'd just laugh.
And he'd have consumed no food or liquids that day, so he is really lightweight.
Maybe a thimble of tea just beforehand. Yeah. Just afterwards, lots to eat. But when the job's done, the job has to be done first. Honestly, I wish I could get everyone to have a passenger ride with Timothy Needell, because
you can't you, if you go to Thruxton?
Yeah,
yeah, you done it?
Yeah,
really?
He is nuts.
Does the car point in a straight line at any point?
No, it's full side window breathing going on. Yeah, definitely, definitely. He is incredibly talented. It was his birthday. He's a November birthday person.
97 years old and still absolutely sharp as a tack.
Yeah, he's still really good.
Yeah,
he's still really good. Yeah,
Tiff.
He comes top of the JD Power Survey every year.
What, for build quality?
It's the Jack Daniels Power Survey. Other whiskies are available, apparently. Yeah. He's a good lad, and that's a good question.
Next question? Or is there anyone who hasn't had a chance to ask a question and would like a June 1989 copy of Car Magazine?
Oh! Tracksuit guy. You've got to give away this stuff.
Thank you very much. Enjoy it. Don't read it all at once, particularly the bit about the Citroen XM.
If someone wants a Club Biscuit mint, I'll give 3 away to the first person that shouts folds. There was someone just down there. Come and get your 3-pack. 3?
You're eating into our reserves here.
I'll tell you what, do you know what? I'll give him one salted one.
Okay, yeah.
Stand up on stage and show the world. Those bastards.
For the tape,
gosh.
a gentleman who got Johnny's shoes.
They fit perfectly.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They are the lattice-toed helmsman shoe.
The driving moccasin.
Are you driving home in them tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Better than ever.
I'm going to go to work for them.
Please tell me you work in Timpson's.
Oh, okay. They're amazing. They're amazing. They're amazing. Pedal box hero in those. Oh, amazing.
Where are we up to with... Oh, we've got time left. Another question, please.
This one's for Johnny. Cast your mind back to your Max Power days.
Oh, gosh.
What was the most outlandish modification you saw, and what was it on? And what would you do to get the element on the front cover?
People used to do the craziest things. I remember one guy phoned up and he said, I'm 21, I just bought a Citroen Saxo VTS on finance, which was pretty common then, which is why that car's become quite sort of iconic. And he said, I'm going to borrow £25,000.
What?
This was 2002, so over 20 years ago.
Hell.
And he said, I will do whatever you think it will take with that money to make the cover of Max Power. Genuinely, he was just waiting for us to just say whatever that was. And I had no bloody idea. And I was also terrified, frankly. I just thought, I can't. Too much weight of responsibility.
Stretch it, by about 8 feet. Cabrio.
Oh, gosh.
Do you remember that sort of peach colour they used to do polos in? I think it was called apricot. Does anyone remember this?
Yes.
That colour?
Yeah.
Or Harlequin. What about a Saxo Cabrio limo Harlequin?
Well, somebody...
And then you could put it on the cover with the caption. The cover line would be, "Look at this dick." It's not quite the effect he was going for, but he's got his cover, so...
Somebody upholstered, somebody externally trimmed a car that made the cover of Max Power, I'm sure. So the whole interior was fiberglass, incredible massive speakers. So the fiberglass door bins were huge, 12-inch subs in each door. I mean, it was bonkers. But they trimmed the outside of it just for shits and giggles. And that car still exists, because I saw it last year. It got taken to the Hot Wheels Legends Tour event, and it had been squirreled away for years because it was worthless. And, I love the whole custom car world, but it's a very personal thing, isn't it? It's the absolute opposite of someone buying a car to hedge their bets on it being an investment. It's a total crazy, selfish kind of artistic expression, and I kind of like that. It's ballsy, and we've lost a bit of that. And I'm glad I was around for that era, although there was a lot of sort of hashtag Me Too, I should think, going on around that time, which we won't talk about. We'll just stick with the cars. So yeah, so an externally upholstered car, I did see that, and that was pretty damn mad. Oh, I also saw one where the tailgate came off on a telescopic ram away from the car by about 8 feet. And it could revolve completely 360 revolve, and it had a full PA system, so you could run. Basically, I mean, Stellantis should do this, because it's a full. In the middle of a car park, the sound system was big enough to be heard by 1,000 or more, thousands of people.
Renault Clio. Do you remember that car?
It? It was not yours, is it? No, but I remember it.
No,
just
the
being
owner of that
mad.
car is now Emeritus Professor of Philosophy.
Yeah, and it was the amount of artistic expression that went on then was amazing. It wasn't the sort of car you'd want to own, but I was pleased to see it. It was amazing.
Do a couple more questions, and then we should probably wrap this up.
Anyone for another question?
Or has everyone had enough?
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
So it's me again. Just a random fact, because I know she's talking about upholstering, that is known to the club I'm in. I've got a Chrysler Alpine. There's a Talbot Alpine somewhere out there that's had the interior converted to leather, from velour to leather.
Yeah, it's me.
That's a terrible move.
It's mine.
That's
I've
so
got it.
bad, and it's just like the car is worthless.
Yes.
It's actually downgraded the value of the car because it's done that.
I mean,
so
we're not talking about a
worst?
Bugatti Royale, though, so I mean, it's sort of a relative thing, isn't it?
So what is the worst interior mock-up you've seen? Obviously, you've said the one there. Have you got any other different ones?
The worst interior?
Yeah.
Factory or...
Oh, no, obviously, ones out. I know one guy who for some weird reason, was an electrician, and he fitted multiple DVD players into the dash.
Multiple?
With screens. And the guy spent thousands.
He had what? So he had a screen per DVD player?
Yeah, and it was like a Peugeot...
Was he a blue bottle?
No, it was I think it was a Peugeot 306.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I remember when Fast and Furious came out, people just... In the modified car world, people just went mad with screens. Screens were just kudos. So you'd put screens in the boot, in the hatchback, inside the boot itself, in all the door pods. And they'd leave all these open at a car show, and there'd be different films playing.
Oh, shaving Ryan's privates.
Not well. I'm not saying.
Pile driving mistakes.
Honestly.
Excuse me, do you remember the car in the Cannonball Run, the Japanese car with all the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that Mitsubishi? Mitsubishi Starion, wasn't it? Yeah.
There's a Vectral thing.
I don't know.
Do you remember, this is a sort of factory car, but a one-off that at the Geneva Most Show, I think it might have been, Rover fetched up with a 200 or maybe a 25. The interior had been redone by a fashion designer. I think it was Matthew Williamson. And it was bloody awful.
Was it?
Yeah. There's probably pictures of it online still, but I think they'd spent quite a bit of money having it retrimmed, and it was not good.
What was the BMW concept car that was covered in fabric and it could stretch and change?
The Gina.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bit bit sketchy.
It's quite good. You know, they seriously considered that for trying to get it in production.
Really?
Well, they gave it some proper thought. Yeah.
I mean, now it would be tasteful looking compared to, say, the BMW insert name of a lot of BMWs here.
All right. One more question before we wind this up.
Or just carry on with Rover. Do you think that...
Look, we're going to get thrown out if we keep
they don't exist. They're not a threat. They're not a threat.
Working for Stellantis' DJ competitor JLR, do you think that there's a market for a Rover EV reimagined based on XE parts in the way that Renault have brought Dacia to the forefront? Or do you think that Rover should be left in the past?
That's actually a really good question.
I asked someone from JLR years ago about bringing back Rover, and they went, there's lots of reasons why we wouldn't, and one of them is that it would just cost a fortune to do all the branding, do the showrooms, all the marketing to re-establish the company, remind people it's here, even though we've heard of it. You'd have to sort of reposition it. But since you don't have to sell cars through showrooms anymore, I wonder if that would be a tiny bit cheaper. Not a lot cheaper. But I wonder what the point of it would be. Because they've got enough on their plate trying to get Jaguar relaunched whenever that's happening. I'm sure you can tell us now if you put the microphone to your mouth.
Soon.
Oh, you heard it here first.
I would really like Rover to relaunch so that young rappers who have forgotten what Rovers are just start talking street nonsense about the sensible 3-box saloons.
What was that? It was the Chainsmokers, wasn't it, that did that?
Yeah.
In the back seat of my Rover.
Yeah, which
I always imagined it was a 214.
I was thinking
SI.
600. I was going to go 620.
But I think... So you know what, weirdly, I don't mind people in the US
Rovers.
calling Range Rovers Rovers. I find less annoying than people here calling them Ranges. That's a cooker. Because here's some people, it just not rangy. I mean, rangy, it's all
Bruce
right.
Hornsby and
Hornsby and the Range Rover.
Yeah. That's it.
And
It's
his
a mobile
song
recording
is
studio.
fucking leaking oil again.
Yes.
Which mine isn't, by the way.
Or the ECU shat itself.
I'll show you a picture afterwards of someone we know in his Range Rover. He said he described it as coked up, and not in the sense that it might have been when it was new.
Not Paul Hollywood's hands.
Stop saying that. We'll get sued. Right. Well, look.
Paul Hollywood on gangs.
Yes, that's why he would be in proximity to cocaine, because he's doing Ross Kemp's job, busting open drug gangs and then cooking them all some scones while they're in handcuffs to torture them. Oh, that smells delicious. Well, you can't have any because you're going to prison.
Yeah. Yeah, bastard.
Right, well, we should probably wrap this up because Stellantis want us to get the hell out of their premises. So, that's what we're going to do.
So thanks for having us, Stellantis.
Thanks for having us,
Can we
Stellantis.
give Stellantis a round of applause?
Yes. Thank you to the whole Stellantis team who've made us feel very welcome here.
Can't help it. I need to do it.
It's amazing there isn't just from the next room, there's just a constant backbeat through the wall.
Yeah, there's an after party, but if everyone keep their pages open for when they're walking out afterwards, we'll find out where it is.
Or if you can work out which pub we're staying in, you're welcome to come to that.
Just follow the Talbot Samba as it leaves the car park.
Yeah. Well, watch out, it's the Trio Special Edition. I'll be lighting it up. Okay, before we go, I have three things to tell you. They are: one, Johnny has a solo YouTube channel. It's called the Mislabeled Crates of Steak and Cake Show, in which Johnny is forced to do deliveries around the country in a curtain-sided Vauxhall Movano. But due to poor management at the warehouse, he has no idea whether he's delivering meat or sweet treats. This week, he's outside
meat or sweet treats.
He's outside a vegetarian cafe in Preston while the owner shouts, "What the fuck? There's blood coming out of this," at him. If that's not to your taste, there's always the Late Break Show. Lots of excellent videos on there.
I don't know what's coming.
No, well, you won't,
Richard,
because it's New Year's Day and you can't remember because you were out
But
partying
loads
last
of great
night.
stuff. You've probably not watched all the previous 4 years worth, so just go watch some of those.
Are you calling our audience ungrateful?
No, I'm just sort of putting it out there.
Second thing I have to tell you is that I have a new book out. It's called Boring Car Trade. I know, I should have mentioned it before, but I didn't. What an idiot. Anyway, hopefully some of you got it for Christmas, which of course is in the past now because it's New Year's Day. And if not, well, use your Smiths vouchers that you got for Christmas to buy it, even though it's not available in Smiths. But it is on Amazon as an ebook or a paperback from our merch shop, where you can also buy our new hats.
Yeah, for your head.
And I've modified our merchandise song at the end of this podcast to reflect that, so not catching me out there.
Also fleece-lined.
Fleece-lined, they're nice hats.
Quality.
They are nice hats.
They were road tested by someone with male pattern baldness. So you know they're really good.
And the third thing I've got to tell you is this is one for you, Johnny.
Is it?
Do you remember that Nescafe advert with that sad lady in a beetle? Oh, thank God someone does. I was a bit worried about this. I thought you remember she drove up onto a sort of cliff top and it was, I can see clearly now the rain has gone.
Oh, yes.
And she put a little heating element out of the fag lighter and made herself a cup of Nescafe, and then she was less sad.
Less sad. I like being less sad.
Now, let me ask you this. What? Do you remember the very last episode of The Office?
I never watched it.
Really? Oh, for fuck's sake. Does anyone here remember the last episode of The Office?
Everyone will have watched Office.
Brilliant bit of TV. And you remember one of the great bits of it was that David Brent finally told Finchy to fuck off because David turned up at the Christmas party with this quite normal, attractive woman that was his date. The quite normal, nice, attractive woman who was his date was also the sad woman in the Beetle.
Oh.
True fact.
That's a good fact for Office fans.
That might be the most obscure piece of nonsense I've ever done in that bit. Anyway, I found that out last night and I thought I'm going to share that.
That's for your next book, Boring Trivia.
Just boring trivia. Just cut the car bit out.
No, there is some cars.
Yeah, that's true.
I always preferred Peter Kay's Phoenix Nights far better. Okay. It's true, isn't it?
Well.
It stands better.
On that controversial take, it's time to end. Thank you ever so much for listening at home. Thank you to everyone in the room for coming along. We do really appreciate it. And
yeah, we do.
We're also slightly mind-boggled by the fact that you would give up your evening to listen to this. But you have. It's too late now, so thanks for that. Yeah. And we will do this again soon. Until then, goodbye.
Thanks then. Cheers, mate.
Mugs, t-shirts, stickers. Mugs, t-shirts, stickers. Mugs, t-shirts, stickers. And now we do hats too. They're very stylish. This may come as a surprise, but Smith and Sniff have merchandise. You won't believe your eyes. Smith and Sniff have merchandise. Sadly, we don't do pies, but Smith and Sniff have merchandise. One day we might sell ties. Smith and Sniff have merchandise.